Welcome back. Welcome back. You man Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show on firetelevision.com, the diamondkshow.com. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of things to get into today. Of course, here in Baltimore, we had the mayor talk about his tenure, you know, his State of the City address, something that I always look forward to. Whether it's the president, whether it's the governor, whether it is the mayor, whether it's the principal of the school. I like to hear people, um, you know, evaluate their job, evaluate where they are. And sometimes folks are delusional. Sometimes folks are over optimistic in their assessment and such. So Mayor Brandon Scott delivered this annual State of the City address this afternoon. Now, this comes at a time when City Hall is just reopening to the public on Monday. The City Council hosted the first public in-person meeting in over 2 years. So for 2 years, obviously the pandemic changed a lot of things. So City Hall is getting back to normal. The mayor, Brandon Scott, started his address by paying tribute to Baltimore's first responders and public safety workers who died in the line of duty. There was a moment of silence for those, uh, you know, um, fallen officers and community workers and the such. And so that was a good thing. And it kind of set the tone for where things would go. Uh, Mayor Scott said that his administration is changing the way city government operates. Now, I don't see a lot of changes. I don't. But I mean, maybe that doesn't mean that changes aren't taking place, and maybe it takes time for it to filter through. And that's why we need the public officials to kind of outline, highlight what these accomplishments are, these changes are. Mayor Scott said this: Baltimore, let's be honest. When I came into office, city government was broken and rotten to the core. From years of dysfunction and turmoil and misplaced focus, we had to start from scratch and build new systems from the foundation up. No longer putting new windows on a house with no roof, but together we're paving a new path forward for our city, and the proof of that is evident. We are resilient, the mayor said. We are proud, and we will win against all odds. So, the words, they sounded good. They sounded good. Now, let's dive into that a little bit. So, the mayor said that when he came into office, city government was broken. City government was broken. Now, he's referring to Baltimore city government, and it was rotten to the core. That is pointing to, the number of scandals that City Hall and Baltimore City politicians had been under. Right? Okay, that is true. From years of dysfunction to turmoil and misplaced focus. Focus. The word focus is an important word. Misplaced focus. So that means, according to the mayor, that the city officials were zooming in on things that they should not have been zooming in on, and this leads me to believe that Mayor Scott, is saying that he refocused Baltimore's efforts and refocused the city government since he came into office. He said, no longer putting new windows on a house with no roof, right? So you know how ridiculous that is. Putting windows and then the roof is not there. So he's saying that things were not handled in order. So obviously the roof should have been done before you change the windows. So he said he's paving a new path forward. So he's saying that we're on the road there. Now we haven't got there. Now the part that stands out to me in this paragraph is that the proof of that is evident. I'm going to need to talk to the mayor again. I talked to him in the beginning of his, administration when he first was elected. I talked to him on election day, and I've spoken with him after he was elected. And I don't know how evident. Now, I was thinking that he was going to put a lot of things into, well, it was the pandemic. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. And I was thinking there. I didn't think that he was going to present a case, the mayor. I didn't think he was going to present a case of, you can see how much stuff that we've gotten done and all the work that we put in. I don't know. I don't know, Mr. Scott, if I see that. I don't know. And so that would be my first thought. Oh yeah, that's right. I saw him at the city poly game as well. So he says that we're resilient, and Baltimore is resilient. Said that we're proud, and that's true as well. And we will win against all odds. I believe all of that. I believe all of that. Now, what has to happen is the mayor has to be transparent. He has to be transparent. He cannot just gloss over things because depending on who you ask, things are worse now than ever, depending on who you ask, right? Now, for the mayor to say that city government was broken and rotten to the core and there was dysfunction and turmoil prior, but now that he's, I guess, insinuating that these things don't exist anymore, I don't know if I see that the same way. I don't know if I see that the same way. If you see it differently, by all means, let me know. So he spoke about the impact of COVID-19. It's hard to get around talking about that. He spoke about it and talked about city services and healthcare workers and how they haven't been getting the kudos that they deserve. Much of this address was dedicated to public safety. Public safety, and the mayor called reimagined policing strategy. Reimagined. I don't see anything any different than what, just if you close your eyes and say that the mayor is Stephanie Rollins Blake or Sheila Dixon or, take your pick, Catherine Pugh, Jack Young. What's different now than before? I don't see any difference. And, folks in Baltimore are going to need to hear more than good words. This was a great speech. I thought it was a great speech. It was a very positive speech. How positive are things right now? When we talk about crime, do you feel safer now than you felt 3 years ago? Or do you feel the same? Or do you feel worse? I don't know how many people can say they feel safer. I don't know. So another point of the speech, the mayor says, I want to commend the entire BPD, that's the Baltimore Police Department, for serving our residents to make Baltimore a safer place every single day. All right. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with thanking the police officers for their service. Okay. Mayor goes on. If we continue with the status quo, we will continue to get stat quo results. So he's acknowledging that nothing has changed there in the next sentence. He's acknowledging by saying, if we continue with the stat quo, which means we've been doing that, right? He said, we don't change things, things are going to stay the same. What have we changed exactly? What have we changed exactly? So the mayor says, that is why we are doing the work to ensure that police resources are being used effectively and constitutionally. Yeah, we want to make sure that that happens. So, what work is being done to ensure that resources are being used effectively and constitutionally? I would like for him to have expanded on that. I mean, I hear about the initiatives and we're going to do this, we're going to do a modern version of that. Well, what are those versions? Let's get into the devil's in the details. And while this was a very nice, fluffy speech, it was very, very slim in details. Folks need details, right? Says that we have developed several initiatives that are part of our strategy to reimagine policing. Reimagine. When you say reimagine, it just has me thinking like you thought of something, but it hasn't exactly happened. It's a great idea, but we're not actually doing it, right? Which shows me that nothing's changing. We're talking about change, right? We're talking about change, and understand this: Mayor Scott went into a position that is difficult, right? This isn't easy. This is not an easy job because, to his point, that how he opened, talking about the dysfunction and the turmoil that is Baltimore politics. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I'm not trying to minimize the magnitude of this job, but what folks need, because in a few years he's going to be asking folks to reelect him, right? In 2 years he's going to be asking folks for their votes again. And folks are going to want details as to what you actually did, right? You can't just say we're reimagining the police. What you're just having a dream about it? You got a whiteboard, you're just writing down some ideas. Let's reimagine. Okay, what are you doing? What is different? Where is crime? Crime is still at an all-time high. Right? Now, can one person change it? No. Can the mayor change it? No. But the buck's going to stop with somebody, and it's going to probably be the chief of police and the mayor in that order, right? So he says that they've developed several initiatives that are part of our strategy to reimagine policing. These are all changes that our residents have told us they want to see as we move closer to creating a safer future for Baltimore. So basically, what I took from that is that the residents actually gave them the ideas, and we're trying to move closer to creating a safer future, right? Moving closer, taking another step to get there, right? Where it's not safe yet, right? And we're not even saying that we're trying to make it safe now. We're moving closer to creating a safer Baltimore, right? So what he's going to do a couple years from now is say that we need to reelect him in order for him to implement what has been reimagined. What we have reimagined, according to the mayor, I'm going to need another term to try to do some of these things. So he says that our reimagining policing strategy will allow us to modernize policing and transform Baltimore's police department into a world-class law enforcement agency. Okay, so the Freddie Gray debacle that didn't force us to modernize policing. What does modernize policing mean? How about body cameras? Wait, we already have body cameras, right? I mean, GPS. Wait, we already have GPS. Y'all wanted new cars? Wait, we already got some new cars, right? What does he mean by modernizing policing, right? What is he really going to do? What I would want here, details, right? The reason why he's not giving us the details is because there are none, right? There's nothing that he can outline that's more modern. I mean, we got a tracker, you know what I mean? We got a couple spreadsheets. We're going to use an app. Like, what are you going to do? Tell us, tell the people what you're going to do, because you're going to come around in 2 years and say, reelect me, reelect me. And are we going to get the details then? No, we're not going to get the details then either. You're going to kick the can down the road. I just don't agree with this strategy, right? I love the speech. It's missing some things though. It's missing some things, and I want to see those things, because he's going to have a tough reelection campaign if things continue in the way that they're going now. Just tune in, it's your man Diamond K, of course, the Diamond K Show, onfiretelevision.com, the Diamond K Show.com, and we are talking about Mayor Brandon Scott and his State of the City address that went down today from City Hall, a newly opened to the public City Hall. Here on the program, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with interviews and original reporting from across the country. Show is fun, show is upbeat, but I have to expose what's really going on. I'm in Baltimore, and I'm going to give you politics from an independent perspective. If a Republican's wrong, I'm going to call that out. If a Democrat's wrong, I'm going to call it out too. I'm doing that right now. We're talking about Mayor Brandon Scott and his State of the City address. This bunch of, unicorns and rainbows and imagining and not a lot of details. We're going to continue to talk about that on the other side. And I am here 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Let's do this. Take a quick break, and we're going to come back here at onfiretelevision.com, radioonfire.com, the Diamond K Show.com. Be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. The legendary Lifestyle Cafe is a community-based wellness space driven by local business partnerships and provides health-conscious food and products. Located at 1301 North Broadway in Baltimore, Maryland, the legendary Lifestyle Cafe is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Check out what they have: plant-based food, cold-pressed juice, wellness products like sage, crystals, organic loose herbs, and more. They have apparel, and there's plenty of educational resources. If you need a space to meet or work, they have Wi-Fi. Check out the legendary Lifestyle Cafe. Delivery is available. Check them out on social media at Legendary Lifestyle Cafe or visit legendarylifestylecafe.com. So on the other side, I'm talking about the mayor, Brandon Scott, and his State of the City address. And, like I said, I thought it was a great speech, right? But if we're talking about what's been done, we're talking about what you have done thus far in these 2 years, right? It was a whole lot of fluff. And today, with inflation what it is, when crime is what it is, folks need details. We need details. When you're at your job and it is time for your evaluation, right? And you say, look, I want to raise, and they're going down your evaluation. Okay, what you've done for the last year, and they pull out your write-ups, pull out your tardies, what do you call it, tardies, your latenesses, right? They pull up all this stuff, and you'll say, well, on leadership, I got a 5, and on the dress code, I got a 5, and helping people, I got a 5. And they're gonna want to know, give me examples. Give me examples of why you have a 5. Do you have something to point to? Can you give me an example? No, I just think I should get it, right? That's what the mayor is doing right here. Give me an example of this reimagined policing strategy. Not just words, you want to modernize policing. No, what does that mean? Of course, I know what modernize means, but give me an example of how that has happened in the last 2 years under Mayor Brandon Scott. I'll wait. I'll wait. Do I have to wait 2 years? Because I don't know. And if I don't know, the average person doesn't know. So the mayor needs to tell us. And the time when he was supposed to do that is his State of the City address, which it didn't happen because he didn't give us details. Now, when he was talking about the police officers and the activists that were lost in the line of duty, he gave us those names, right? He gave us details then. He gave us details because he had details. People that passed away in the line of work, their names were read because they had examples of the fallen workers. Give us examples, Mr. Scott, Mayor Scott, but he did not. So the mayor pointed to some progress in getting violent offenders off the streets. Okay. Now, if violent offenders have been taken off the streets, okay, but I mean, to me, it just sounds like a bunch of words and numbers. The mayor cited 363 gun arrests, the recovery of 573 guns, including 142 guns used in violent crimes and 113 ghost guns. All right, I've been talking for the last 20 minutes about details, and those are details, I suppose. But to me, it just rings hollow. It just rings hollow. It just sound like numbers that you just took out the clear blue sky. You know what I mean? The mayor said that the warrant apprehension task force has served 810 warrants to date for violent crimes, including murder, attempted rape, carjackings, and armed robbery. He's trying to make you all feel safe. Do you feel safe? Because the mayor's throwing a bunch of numbers at us, and it just rings hollow. If you've done all of this, crime would be lower, right? If this is what it is, right? So if you say I'm arresting somebody for attempted murder or things like that, or serving these warrants, this doesn't mean that these people did it. These means that you think that the people did it, but then we don't even know if they actually did it. So if you just arrest somebody, we've seen so many bogus arrests. If you just arrest somebody and then you say, we're taking criminals off the street, you know what I mean? I need more than just words. Right. And these are just surface words. I need details. So the mayor said, he continues this, and I don't want people to think I'm nitpicking. I like the mayor, right? I want the mayor to be successful. And I think that his heart and his intentions are in the right place, right? But it is my job to talk about these things. And just because you say it, I got to trust but verify, right? I can't verify any of this. The fact that we're so much safer now that Mayor Scott has been in office. The fact that I thought that this would have been a great time. If you want to bring it up, if you want to say that city government was broken and rotten to the core and dysfunctional and misplaced focus and turmoil, show me how you have cleaned it up. Tell me that. Tell me how you have refocused and realigned things. Tell me how you've raised Baltimore from the dysfunction, raised Baltimore from the turmoil and the rot, and you fixed things because you said they were broken. Give me those examples, right? We did this, we did that. No, none of that, just words. Well, he did name the heroes that died. But that's not going to cut it. We need more than that. Scott said that he will unveil a smart policing program to allow officers to focus on crime and free them up from serving non-emergency calls. Here's the thing that's it's not hard to do this, right? It ain't hard to set the foundational pieces up. You mean to tell me that we have the 911 operators and they can determine what's a non-emergency call? Of course they can. This is already happening, right? This is already happening. But the mayor is going to say we're going to have a smart policing program. So what we've been doing before has been dumb, right? Are you admitting that the system was screwed up and it has just for years and years just been screwed up? The police and all you can do is just change the focus and make it smart policing. It's just that simple, right? Now, how are you going to achieve these things? These are just words. And I understand that it is election season. I understand he's at the halfway point, and I understand clearly that he wants to be reelected. I get it. But I just don't know if this is going to be enough. This was enough to get him elected. I don't know if this is enough to get him reelected. Now, he does have time to turn it around. I just don't see it. I don't see it the way clearly his administration sees it. I'm sure they were high-fiving. Yeah, great job, Mayor. Yeah, you gave a great speech. And, I suppose he did. But there was no one there to push back. He didn't take questions, obviously. And he said that the city cannot address violence with policing alone. Okay, so that leads me to believe that you have something else in mind, right? Okay, policing alone. So you say all that to say we're gonna reimagine policing, and then after you come up with this just vague, small, smart policing program that's gonna make officers focus on crime and not non-emergencies, like people call them to get the cats out of the tree or something, right? All right, so we're going to focus on that. And he says, but then after all that, he says, well, policing ain't going to fix this. Why'd you even bring it up, right? Why'd you make that such a focus of things if that's not even what's going to solve the problem, right? Okay, so then he goes, so I'm thinking like you thinking. So what's going to solve the problem, Mr. Mayor? So now he's going to set us up to tell us what is. Okay, so policing alone, oh, that's not going to address the violence. Okay, so what is? Let's get to that. So then he points to organizations doing violence prevention work and using all city agencies in an all hands on deck approach to fight violence. All right, so now we might be getting somewhere because we're talking about changing the mindset of our citizens. The mayor transitioned to addressing youth. Okay, now he's on the right path because we do need to address the young folk. He announced that in the upcoming budget, he is proposing investing $60 million more in city schools. Now I'm getting nervous. Okay, $60 million more in city schools. Wait, all the money that they've dumped in city schools in the past, right? You say that we're going to put this million and that million in the schools, and then the money goes somewhere else or gets reallocated, or because that 60 million was given, other monies do not come. And just so much. We've been down this road. We have been down this road. This is one of the main components of what the mayor called the rot, the dysfunction, the turmoil, the brokenness. It came from money that was being pushed or supposed to be pushed to city schools that never went there, which is why, they're hot and they're cold in the schools and they don't have resources, and the teachers got to come out their own pockets because they said we were pushing money down there. And then the greed of folks whose hands the money goes through, it doesn't get to the students. So this is your answer? The same thing that people have been doing all along? This is the answer to get reelected? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. But here we go again. Brandon Scott, who I have had the pleasure, I think I've interviewed him probably 3 times since he's been elected. He's a nice guy, right? But we need more than just a nice guy. We need actions. We need you to say something. And I think that the biggest problem, when I talk to citizens, the biggest problem that I think that citizens have with Mayor Scott is they think that he's in over his head, right? They think that he's too young, quote unquote, too young to do the job. And I was hoping that he would show us that he is, as Baltimore State's Attorney Mosby has been saying lately, built for this. I want to see that he's built to do this job. It's a hard job. It's a hard job. And in a lot of instances, as you can see, it could be a thankless job. But this is the job that you signed up for. This is the job that you said you wanted. And this is a job that you were elected to do. So the folks are going to have questions. And when you say something, the folks are not going to be like, oh, yeah, the man said it, and that's enough. No, we're going to have some pushback. I got a lot of pushback. I'm going to need to sit down with the mayor again and address and ask him some of these things. So the mayor talked about the giving of the 60 million more in city schools, which to me this is a lazy reaction to a major problem, right? I thought he was gonna go in and say I thought he was going to say some good stuff. No, he's like my smart policing policy, and then we're going to dump some money in the city schools, just some random thing. You're dumping the 60 million in city schools for what? Like, where's this money gonna go? How are we going to hold folks accountable? How are we going to be able to see? Give us a smart tracker to see where this money is going. You want to do smart policing, the routing, that, which is just foolishness, right? You have a 911 operator who's supposed to decipher what's what. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about right now, right? This is the kind of stuff that makes me mad, right? Don't insult my intelligence, right? Don't keep recycling the same things or say some buzzword that some ad agency told you. If you say this word, this is going to make, our polls tell us that saying the word smart is going to automatically make the people going to believe what you're saying, right? I mean, he's just saying stuff just to be saying it, right? Saying stuff just to be saying it. People are dying in our streets. We ain't got time to be playing games, playing word games, buzzwords and hashtags and algorithm words. They sound like hardball, talking about the analytics. Out of here with that, okay? We need somebody who is serious about doing this. If you're not serious about doing it, then get out the way like Jack Young. Get out the way and go back and do whatever you was doing before. That's how serious this is. That's how serious this is. I'm not dumping on the mayor. I said it before. I like the mayor. But we need a serious person in office who seriously wants to change things. I mean, if you're trying to be the candidate of change, then change something. I haven't heard one thing that he's changed in 2 years. They're just opening the doors back up to City Hall. Oh, it's been COVID. I get it. But what have you changed, right? You're supposed to be the candidate of change. They've been doing things wrong all along. The old people was doing it wrong. So we need a young boy to come in here and do something. What have you done? Now is the time he's supposed to tell us. Now is the time he's supposed to have laid it out. But so we're talking about the young people, talking about 60 million that he wants to just dump into a school that's going to go into some people's pocket and we're never going to be able to find it. He pointed to 120 million invested in recreation and parks that is supported by organizations to support young people and communities. Really? What did that do? What did that do? What does that mean? They'll just say these random numbers. And it reminds me of the Democrats trying to pass Biden's bills, right? And they just throw these big numbers out and then wonder why people don't get excited about it. They just focus on the number and not what it does. And people just, okay, like folks have it hard. And you start talking about these millions of dollars for this and millions of dollars for that. And just, they don't even understand what are you saying. It just kind of just gets lost in the translation. Just lost in the translation. And then, he's sitting amongst other politicians and he's saying stuff, say these numbers and these buzzwords. And they're like, oh, ooh, yeah, mayor. Woo, yeah. But I was home. Actually, I was downtown. Now I was a couple blocks from City Hall. And I'm watching him say these things. And I'm not clapping. I'm not, ooh, mayor. I'm just like shaking my head like, wow. If he continues on this track, he's going to be really vulnerable when re-election time comes. He's already vulnerable, right? Because he's young. If a focused, that's that word again, focused. If a focused, serious politician that knows how to communicate can come along and push back on some of the things that he said just in this speech alone, you may have a serious contender depending on how much money they have, right? I want him to get this together because I want the city to win. I do. I want the mayor to win because if the mayor is successful, assumably, Baltimore will be successful. So the mayor says that we want to ensure that every young person that wants to work doesn't miss the opportunity to do so. All right. So we're going to see about that. So new announcements came in the mayor's address, including the Charm City Circular will come to Cherry Hill. That's a good thing for the folks in that area. Baltimore businessman David Bramble will bring private investment to revitalize Harbor Place. Additionally, the mayor announced the Inner Harbor Visitor Center will open for the first time since the start of the pandemic. All right. The mayor said that the city is working to improve the water system and making water bills more affordable. You want to do some work in Baltimore? You, you need to fix that. Definitely. That should be like number one on his priority list. But this is not about helping the citizens first. Like citizens, the actual citizens, we way down on the list of people to be helped. And that is one of the many things that frustrates people about politics. The actual everyday man and woman, way down on the list. We're way down on the list. There's so many fundamental things that are wrong. So many. So the mayor said that they're working to improve the water system. What does that mean exactly? Making bills more affordable. You're going to charge us more for other things and bring the water bill down? What are you saying? Tell us more. He said that the annual water rate increases of 9% or more are history, with the new water rate increases for the next 3 years at an average of 3.2%. I don't know. I guess he thought, the mayor, we supposed to be excited about that. Oh, yeah. What are you even saying? Right? The infrastructure in this town is old. You want to talk about dysfunction? Our infrastructure, fix the streets. Like there's so many simple things that can be done instead of all these millions that you're just going to throw into some little hole and say that it was for Baltimore City schools. Fix the roads, fools. What are we talking about? Fix the roads. Fix the infrastructure. Do something that we can actually see instead of this foolishness. When it comes to developing the city's neighborhoods, if they do things that the people can actually see, then we can see some progress. Then we can quantify some of the things that you're saying. Otherwise, you're just saying words. The mayor announced $500,000 to incentivize more Black and brown families to return to and stay in the city. You want to do that, make it safer, and fix it up. It looks like crap right now. It looks like pure D crap. Additionally, $39 million will be used to reduce the number of vacant buildings. So that means that they're going to be knocking down some more buildings and growing some grass, right? I don't know. As much as I thought that the speech was a good speech, it's a cool speech, I also feel that it was missing so much. So much by the way of details, so much by the way of true change, missing so much. And I can't be the only person to see that, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show, at On Fire Television. And we're going to take a quick break. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Marilyn Mosby, her trial, and all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You and Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show. Weekdays, 6 p.m. on firetelevision.com, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K, the DiamondKShow.com. So in February, it's been that long. She had some indictment charges, right? She has enemies and they are coming for her. Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby requested a speedy trial. She said that I am innocent. I ain't trying to play no games with these people. Let's get this trial done and let's get it out the way. Boom. That's what she said then. Last week, Friday to be exact, court documents showed that she wanted to postpone the trial till September. She was like, we're not quite ready yet. On second thought, let me push this back some. So a new date has been granted. She will be able to push this back until September. The change was made at the request of the defense and for good cause shown. So she proved and showed that it was necessary, needed for her to get this postponement, and she got it. Cool. Her attorney, A. Scott Bolden, alleges that the U.S. Attorney's Office is engaged in a rolling production. Now, this production does not allow his client enough time to start the trial in May. New trial date is September the 19th. So September the 19th, that's after the primary, but it is still before the general election. So in January, the federal grand jury returned the indictment charging that Mosby made false mortgage applications, perjury related to the 2020 purchase of 2 vacation homes in Florida. The new trial date is actually exactly 2 months after the July 19th primary election. Mosby has not filed to run for a second term. I believe that she will, right? I believe that she will, and she should run. But ironically, Mosby would face the same opponents that she defeated in 2018, right? Through Vignoraja, Ivan Bates, and Roya Hanna remains on the ballot, but she announced last month that she would withdraw from the primary and run as an independent candidate in November. So what the whole thought process there is that you have these Democrat front runners that are on the ballot. Her withdrawing and then running as an independent candidate will allow her to get presumably some Republican votes, presumably some Democratic votes, presumably some undecideds, and it will allow her more time to run because she has less money to work with, according to filings, than her opponents. And so this will give her more time in the field. So that's what she's going to do. So that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. U.S. District Court judge who issued the postponement order also scheduled hearings to discuss some pre-trial motions for 1 week from Thursday, so April 14th, and September 14th. So this trial is coming. It is just not coming yet. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show. Of course, On Fire Television, onfiretelevision.com. We talked about the harbor, right? And Harbor Place. For folks that visit the city, this is like a big deal for them. And there was an announcement this afternoon that Baltimore-based developer MCB Real Estate joined with Mayor Brandon Scott, Senate President Bill Ferguson, and other Baltimore leaders. They have an agreement to acquire Harbor Place pending this court approval. It said that Harbor Place is Baltimore's front porch, first and foremost, and a destination location for residents of the city and the surrounding region, right? The level of disinvestment and disrepair that has happened to one of our city's crown jewels has been heartbreaking for me and so many others, Dave Bramble said. MCB is incredibly excited to launch the largest community engagement process in the history of Baltimore and attract new investment to the city. We will reinvent and reimagine, there's that word again, reimagine Harbor Place as a modern gathering location that is awe inspiring and authentically Baltimore. So we'll see what happens. A new chapter for Harbor Place. Harbor Place first opened in 1980 as a national landmark, a first of its kind waterfront mall, replacing a historically industrial area with restaurants and shopping. The opening of Harbor Place marked a renaissance for downtown Baltimore, bringing residents and tourists by the thousands to Baltimore's waterfront for over 2 decades. If you're old enough to remember, in the 1970s, another son of West Baltimore, William Donald Schaefer, had a vision for what this part of Baltimore could be with some investment and some hard work. We're going to see if this is going to be a great outcome for the city and for the residents. I am interested to see how this pans out. I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I'm hopeful, and I hope that it works out. Let's do this. Take a quick break, and we'll come back. We got a couple more stories to get into. Welcome back. Welcome back. You man Diamond K in here. The Diamond K Show, onfiretelevision.com, the diamondkshow.com. It does not seem like it's been that long, but it has been quite some time since former President Barack Obama has been to the White House. But he returned there today to promote the Affordable Care Act, like the good old days. President returns, and that charisma, he still has that charisma that so many people liked and opponents, I guess, disliked. But the return of President Obama to the White House for the first time marks a point. Democrats are looking ahead to the midterm elections. Midterm elections could be a referendum on Biden. Could be, right? But when former President Obama walked into the White House today, it was the first time since he welcomed then President-elect Donald Trump for coffee on the morning of Trump's inauguration. Now, I know you did not expect that President Obama would come through the White House when Trump was there. But there was a friendly greeting, a very awkward handoff of a blue Tiffany's box that Trump had brought as a gift, and all of that debacle. Trump was just, I don't know, no class. School on a Sunday morning, right? But anyway, that was then. This is now. Obama returned to the White House, did not include any of the ugliness that was there when he was handing off to Trump. Instead, he was celebrated for his signature achievement, which is the Affordable Care Act. They call it Obamacare. And ironically, it's alongside the man who served with him in the building for 8 years. Feels like the good old days, President Joe Biden said, alongside his one-time boss, whose return to the East Room resembled a reunion of his top allies, many of whom are now serving in Biden's cabinet or his Congress. So it was good to see. The energy was good. It's good to be back in the White House. It's been a while, President Obama said when he began his remarks. I confess, I heard some changes have been made by the current president since I was last here. Apparently, Secret Service agents have to wear aviator sunglasses now. The Navy mess has been replaced by a Baskin and Robbins, and there's a cat running around. Of course, President Obama, a lot of humor, and he began his speech by addressing his host as Vice President Biden before quickly correcting himself. That was a joke, he exclaimed, and walked over to President Biden, gave him a hug. That was all a setup. My president, Joe Biden. It's that type of humor that is very welcome. Whenever you have the most powerful person in the world. I think that a healthy dose of humor always comes in handy. All right. So President Biden and former President Obama were announcing steps the White House say will make health care more affordable, including closing a loophole that prevents millions of Americans from qualifying for subsidies. Still, that took more than a year for Biden to welcome his former boss to the White House, reflects on his, I guess, desire to stake out his own presidency and get from behind the shadow of former President Obama. Even though the timing of the visit makes clear he is not opposed to seeking help, as Democrats brace for a very tough midterm election season. We have talked about it. This is not going to be an easy one. Democrats are historically soft. Historically soft. Progress feels way too slow. Victories are often incomplete, he said, citing the health law as an example of persistence in governing. Persistence is important. This whole thing would not have happened without the persistence of many folks, many Democrats. So while I do dump on Democrats for their inability to meet Republicans with the same energy, they are often persistent. They are often persistent. While President Obama has occasionally spoken to Biden over the last year, their telephone conversations have not been frequent. According to people close to both men, and they have seen each other only a few times in the last 15 months, despite President Obama living only 10 minutes away from the White House in D.C. In public, they play up a warm friendship that developed over President Obama's term. Biden often slips a reference to Barack in his remarks, hearkening back to a piece of advice or an inside joke or something like that. Sometimes the results are somewhat, pained, right? Because Biden is this, he can be kind of quirky, right? But I think that they are real friends, not just Washington friends. It does come across that way. And, so it was good to see him back there. The thing that stood out to me was Obama declined to endorse Biden over the other Democrats in the 2020 primary, a step that both men insisted was necessary to allow a true contest within the party. Okay. 4 years earlier, Obama had viewed Hillary as his successor instead of Biden, who decided not to run as he dealt with the death of his son, Beau. All that makes today's event a significant moment for both guys. For President Obama, it also marks the beginning of a string of public events, including a keynote speech on disinformation that he will deliver at Stanford later this month. So his return to the White House is the first sign of what many Democrats hope will be his increased involvement in the 2022 midterms. They are going to need someone with the style of former President Obama, with the ability to communicate with the base that former President Obama can do, and hopefully uh, ignite that base, because they are kind of you know lackluster right now. They are not they are not motivated right now. Now, President Obama is no stranger to uphill midterm battles. He endured his own losses in both 2010 and 2014. Yet he left office with an approval rating amongst the highest for any departing president, and still remains very popular. They are going to need his help. they, they are definitely going to need his help, and I think that they got it. I think they have it. I think that he's going to do his part. He ain't going to do it all. It is going to require a lot. Plans are underway and have been for months for the formal unveiling of his portrait. It's a presidential rite of passage that was disrupted during the Trump administration and delayed during the first year of the Biden administration, when the pandemic just made these kind of public events limited, difficult. So that was former President Barack Obama. Happy to see him. Happy to see him. And you've seen the clips, so it's good to see him back in the White House. It is good to see President Biden, just rubbing elbows with him. Maybe some of that charm can come off and help Biden. Biden has been dealing with a tough time. I mean, it's just, you got COVID, you got just social issues, you got inflation, you got all of these things. You have a lot of tough times. Hopefully, with Judge Jackson, this is a win. This will be a win for the president. Hopefully, we're going to see about that. So do this. Take a quick break. Come back. I want to talk about safe streets in Baltimore before we get out of here. The program, Safe Streets. So Diamond K Show, onfiretelevision.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here. Of course, the Diamond K Show on Fire Television, onfiretelevision.com. So in Baltimore, they have a program called Safe Streets. All right. Safe Streets. So the city agency that oversees Safe Streets said that certain parts of Baltimore have seen a reduction in violence, but others have not. All right. So Shantae Jackson is the director of the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement. And she was on WBAL and she talked a little bit about it. She said that already this year, they have mediated over 450 conflicts that would have ended up in violence. All right. So she said that we have seen reductions in some posts and fluctuations in other posts. So they think it's kind of up and down. Jackson said that Safe Streets operates in a small number of places throughout the city, totaling 10 locations in Baltimore. We also saw Cherry Hill, one of our longest held positions, have impacts on homicide and non-fatal shootings 3 times since they've been around. The city is putting millions more into Safe Streets. And as a result, the American Rescue Plan funding made some of that possible. So you have all of these, programs like Safe Streets, and there are others. Do these things help? All right. I mean, they are loudly touted, and I hope that they help. But what it is essentially is an evidence-based violence prevention and interruption program that works to reduce shootings and homicides in high violence areas. So yes, it is something that is needed. It is definitely. I mean, if they're able to stop one violent act, then it is it is victory, I think. So this safety initiative has reduced shootings And there was Dante Barksdale. That was uh, a life that was lost, somebody that was associated with Safe Streets. I mean, there's always going to be folks that are speaking negative about some of these initiatives. And I guess on another day, we'll have to have an official evaluation of Baltimore's Safe Streets program, and really have that conversation as to it's not going to cure violence. It's not going to stop everything. But it has come a long way since it was initially launched in McElderly Park, East Baltimore, right? So I just want to take a moment to talk about it, highlight it, and they have I think a good logo, good message. Stop shooting, start living, safe streets. This has been the Diamond K Show. Of course, I will be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Anytime you miss any episodes of the show, you can check it out on demand, anywhere you get your podcast. The WRF Radio app, make sure you download that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K, the DiamondKShow.com, onfiretelevision.com, radioonfire.com. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. And if you need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. I have a new song dropping on all streaming platforms this Friday, April the 8th. It's called Was This Your Year? So check that out, stream that, and I will see you guys tomorrow.